Well, good to meet you all. My name is Gustave Geisendorf. I'm the CEO of Zutec. So just real quick on who we are and our journey today. So we're a mission-critical B2B software to Contech and PropTech. We are primarily focused on selling compliance solutions to contractors and asset owners in the space, which has really come on the back of a lot of regulations in the space overall that we've been profiteering from over the past few years, and there's more regulations coming, so that's a key driver for us. So it's enterprise SaaS that we sell to PropTech and to Contech. So Contech being anything that is coming out of the ground, and Contech is anything that is already up. So we're a full building life cycle software company, taking it straight from the design stage until the building is up. And we have about 12,000 buildings on our platform, which makes us the largest asset management platform in the UK. So as I mentioned, we're focused on compliance. About 70% of all of our revenues are compliance-driven, which makes it not only sticky, but it makes it very predictable. And there's more regulations coming, and that's why we're staying focused on that. We have around 10 million pounds, or actually sort of 15 million euros of revenues. We're just shy of 90 employees. I'll give some more information further down on some of our other KPIs. And we're all about growing, like many of the companies presenting to you today and yesterday. So we've been growing our business 5 times over the past 4 years. And that has been through a combination of M&A and organic growth. We had about 20% organic growth, and the rest has come from M&A. And M&A is very much part of our roadmap going forwards. So I'm not going to cover all these boxes, but I think Marco mentioned it. I mean, this company has been around for about 20 years, or a bit more than 20 years now. It listed on the Stock Exchange back in 2018, before my time. I joined in 2020. For all the wrong reasons, to be honest. I mean, the company was too small, and I don't think, any advice, if I can give it to anyone, is don't go public too quickly, because you need a scale and you need an investor base to sort of get all the benefits from being public, which was a continuous hassle for quite a few years. And then, as Marco was alluding to, I took the company private towards the back end of that last year, and now we're functioning as a private company, I beg your pardon. We raised around 30 million euros over the past 4 years to support our growth. And we're Rule of 40, for those that are familiar with that SaaS KPI, so more than 20% growth and 20% cash EBITDA margin. And another important thing that we've done, as I was alluding to, we've been doing M&A. In order to get the full benefit from an M&A bolt-on strategy, having a unified brand is where you get the true benefits, not only in terms of revenue synergies, but also in terms of cost synergies. So in terms of the industry, this chart you may have seen before is the McKinsey Digitization Index. And construction, where we operate, is the least digitized industry in the world. It's right down there together with agriculture, which presents a lot of opportunities, and has sort of formed a key cornerstone for our strategy, which is to focus on white spots, because there's plenty of them. Because this industry is digitizing. And it's also one of the fastest sectors in technology, sort of in the emerging economy, if you will. Fintech is number 1, but then other than that is Contech and PropTech up there in terms of underlying growth, what is growing the quickest. And I think the last one is probably the most interesting, which excites me at least, which is there's no industry out there, any, that invests less in IT than construction. And that's sort of our opportunity. So in construction overall, 1.5% of sales is spent on IT. The overall industry average is 3.5% or thereabouts. And this is changing now rapidly. And that's also what we're benefiting from. So our strategy is to focus on white spots, as I said. We don't have to go and try to sell or do displacement selling, which is the alternative. We will focus on white spots where there is no market, and we're almost creating that market. Focus is on compliance. We want to be that across the whole building life cycle. We want to be a champion in the UK and Ireland. We're sort of a niche supplier. So we have up to 40% market shares in certain of the niches we're operating in, and we want to be champion in those verticals we're going into. Leading market shares is important. I mean, I think you can always, you do quite well if you're a top 3 operator. We want to be top 3 in all the segments we're operating in, and we already have a number of number 1 market positions. Recurring and predictable revenues is obvious for anyone who wants to play in SaaS. And then lastly, very, very important part of our strategy is around M&A. So in terms of, just real quick, so we sell across the whole building life cycle, starting from design, going into handover, and then into operations. And we're selling 4 solution families and a total of 17 solutions. And if you look at it 4 years ago, almost everything that we were doing was in construction, which is probably the most cyclical part of our business. But then we've been growing everything we're doing in operations, which is completely non-cyclical, which is about 30% of our revenues right now. Just real quick on what we're actually selling. So we have a cloud app, and then we have 2 field apps. One is called Zutec Field, and the other one is Zutec BIM. That is all connected to cloud, and then we have a powerful analytics platform behind it. Why people buy our product is primarily compliance, as I was mentioning before. It's easy to use, which it has to be based on what I showed you before, that this industry doesn't really know how to operate technology overall, so it has to be easy to use. Configurability is also important because there's different use cases to have a compliance solution. And then lastly, price. So these are KPCs that we compete with. And the ones that we compete with are the big ones, but we're doing quite well. So the ones that we do compete with are the likes of Oracle, Autodesk, Procore, Trimble, etc. But we beat them on these factors all the time, and we're growing much quicker than they are in the UK, and we're actually ahead of them on sales in both UK and Ireland. So wrapping up on our highlights. So the first one is that we do have a unique market positioning to capture growth, not only in Comtech, but also in PropTech. The other one is that this industry is just enormous. So when we look at our own journey, we've been growing sort of 20-25% historically every year. And we think we're going to be growing something similar going forward, and we've been outbeating the market by 2 to 2.5x every year. And we think there's plenty of opportunity to come, as we have on the next blip here, which is that we think there's about between an 80 and 100 million pound revenue opportunity in the UK for us, and we're at sort of just north of 10 right now, and we think this is a revenue opportunity over the next 3 to 5 years. Compliance is what drives it all, and for those that are familiar with some of the things that have been happening in the UK around the Grenfell disaster, there's been a lot of compliance requirements being rolled out around fire safety. Now there's also sustainability compliance that is rolling out across the whole industry that we're benefiting from as well. So I mentioned the KPIs, so we're proud of our KPIs, if not very proud. So we're organic growth of 20%, Rule of 40. We will have a CAC payback of 6 months, which is best in class, and an NRR of 110. And we have a diversified revenue pool of more than 400 customers. And then lastly, which probably is going to be the most important part of our future strategy, is to do more M&A. We've done 3 M&A deals, and then going forward is to do about 1 or 2 M&A transactions a year. Thank you so much.